Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the course Management Information Systems. Today we're going to do the chapter 11, that is Knowledge Management, from module 3 Business Information Systems. Last chapter we were discussing about the different kinds of information systems that were working at the very management levels, different management levels, जिसमें हमने TPS पहले देखा था, उसके बाद we looked at the management information systems. Then we were discussing the decision support systems as well as executive support systems as well. When we were discussing the decision support systems, we looked at the different kinds of capabilities, the functions that are part of the decision support systems, as well as different kinds of functionalities and capabilities of the executive support systems या फिर executive information systems जिनको कहते हैं. When we were talking about the decision support systems, we said that the basic element that these kind of systems help the employees to achieve is to come to a good decision. That means that they assist or they aid and help the managers in decision making. So this is the basic functionality of these kind of systems. Even at the executive level, again, executive level के ऊपर again decisions जो होते हैं वो ज़्यादा novel किस्म के होते हैं, ज़्यादा problem solving required होती है, crisis management required होती है, strategic implementation required होती है. So all of these systems are basically there, information systems are there to help the managers or help the organization achieve the organizational goals and also help them in the decision making process as well. So we said that these DSS systems do not do decisions themselves, itne automated nahi hote, lekin but what they actually do is they help the employee come to a certain decision. So that जो हमने decision making process की बात की थी, we said that decision making process में 4 steps आ रहे हैं. Number 1 is the intelligence, that is you're identifying the problem. Design, that is you're thinking of the different solutions to the problem. Choice is that you are selecting one of the solutions to solve a certain problem. And then after you have decided that you're going to do this, इसके बाद problem solving वाला phase आ जाता है, in which you do the implementation and monitoring of that solution. So all of these steps that happen in the mind, for example, like human mind mein, this is the cognitive process of the decision making. All of these steps can be, inki help ke liye you can use the DSS, because the DSS, again, like we said, that has the functionality that it supports different kinds of problem solving, it supports different kinds of problem frequencies. For example, एक problem अगर दिन में 10 दफ़ा आ रहा है या कोई इस किस्म का problem है जो corporate life में ही 2-3 दफ़ा आता है. So these systems have the ability to deal with all kinds of problems. Then it supports different kinds of decision making levels as well. Decision making जो है, like we said, that different kinds of decisions होते हैं. There are structured decisions, unstructured problems and semi-structured problems. So all of these problems that are working at the different management levels have different kinds of solutions. Have, in fact, जो decisions उनके लिए लेनी होती हैं वो different kinds of levels होते हैं decisions के. So these kind of decision support systems support the different levels of the decision process, and also they support the different phases of the decision. So that's why these decision support systems are there to help the employees at different levels, or to help the managers at different levels of an organization to do some problem solving or do the decision making. इसके बाद we looked at the different functionalities that were provided by the decision support systems, उसके capabilities या उसकी basic characteristics क्या हैं. उसमें हमने देखा था they provide you with a dashboard. इसके अलावा all kinds of information is placed on those dashboards. उसका format इस तरह का होता है that it's user friendly. And basically, the decision makers can customize their own dashboard so that they can view whatever information they want to view, और वो अपने decision के लिए जो आसानी से चीज़ उनको information चाहिए वो उसके ऊपर available रख सके. Then we talked about the different components of the decision support systems, and we said that they're basically components का मतलब है that we were talking about the different approaches of how decision is made. So when we talk about approaches, then उसमें data-driven approach थी, model-driven approach थी, where we said that data-driven is more about the qualitative approach and model-driven is more about the quantitative approach to solve a problem or come to a decision. Then we also talked about the different executive support systems और उनके capabilities देखी थी, that it's all about helping the executives at the strategic level do their job. So, and help them do their job by supporting all kinds of strategic decisions. Strategic planning हो गई, strategic organizational control हो गया. So all these kind of things are again supported by the executive support systems. Right, today we're going to do the knowledge management. और यहाँ पे like decision support systems में और executive support systems में जो basic point था, that was the decision making. Knowledge management में again the very important point here is, या जो important concept जिसको हम लेके चलेंगे, that is about the knowledge. उसमें हमने देखा था decision making का क्या process है. Again that again requires some sort of knowledge or some sort of judgment or some sort of experience to pick a certain solution. और उसी चीज को हम आगे लेके चलेंगे because knowledge is again used throughout the organization. Knowledge is something that is acquired by the organization or created by the organization, and then if they have the ability to apply that knowledge, then that is something that is effective for that organization. So in this chapter we're going to discuss the knowledge. What is knowledge? Uska different dimensions kya hai, identify different dimensions of the knowledge in an organization, especially when you're talking about knowledge as a concept or in the organization or related to the organization, then uske dimensions kya hai. And then afterwards we're going to identify the different techniques of knowledge management. That knowledge management के लिए जो techniques different use हो रही हैं उनको हम discuss करेंगे, as well as discuss the steps of knowledge management. When you are managing knowledge in the organization, then what are the steps that are followed by the knowledge management systems as well. And then we're going to discuss the different types of knowledge management systems. Again, different types के होते हैं जिनमें different technologies use हो रही होती हैं. We're going to discuss this, and we're going to discuss the various intelligent techniques used in specialized information systems, specifically the expert systems. So this we're going to, the last part we're going to do in the next lecture, जिसमें आपको intelligent techniques के बारे में बताया जाएगा कि knowledge management को, knowledge acquire करने को, knowledge manage करने के लिए when you use certain kind of intelligent technologies, तो वो कौन सी technologies use हो सकती हैं, and especially how these technologies help the expert systems do their work, and what are the characteristics, what are the capabilities of the expert systems, that we're going to do in the next lecture. So in today's lecture we're just going to I'm going to give you an introduction about the knowledge concepts and the knowledge dimensions. इसके अलावा when you talk about knowledge management तो उसमें क्या क्या include हो रहा है, as well as briefly describe the different types of the knowledge management systems. Right. Now starting off with the knowledge management, तो हम सबसे पहले बात करेंगे knowledge की. We're going to define knowledge. We're going to be clear about the idea कि जब हम knowledge की बात कर रहे हैं तो हम किस किस्म की knowledge की बात कर रहे हैं, right? So nowadays we live in an information economy. That is that information is going in and out of the organization. We are communicating, sharing information, sharing knowledge, sharing experience, sharing expertise, all of these kind of things. So, and basically in an information economy, knowledge becomes wealth. So the major source of wealth is the production and distribution of knowledge. If your company has a certain knowledge of doing something better than the others, then you can achieve the competitive advantage. So this is the basic benefit of having knowledge of doing something. So that's why knowledge management is important for different businesses, because if the business wants to add a certain value, or the business wants to add value to its company, then that means that they need to create a certain kind of knowledge that is not available with the competitors and apply that knowledge in their business processes so as to achieve the competitive edge or to achieve any kind of operational excellency. So that's why these knowledge management systems and as well as these specialized information systems are used in a lot of industries today, especially the manufacturing industry. Like I said, that information systems ने जब बहुत ज़्यादा change किया है, तो वो change किया है manufacturing industries को. Manufacturing has been completely, उसका जो business था, that completely changed because of the technology, because of the information systems, because of the knowledge that people put in to constantly improve the manufacturing processes. For example, if you have the automobile manufacturing company, तो उसमें क्या हो रहा है? There are different robots that are being used. किस काम के लिए? Either they're painting the panels or they're putting the windshields. So अब उन machines के, उन robots के background में क्या काम कर रहा है? Yes, you might say that this is all being done automatically. But when you say automatically, that means that there's some kind of work that is being done behind them. There's some kind of software that is working behind them. And then how is that software created? Is with the help of certain kind of knowledge. So that knowledge and that expertise of a certain person doing something has been translated into a method that has helped the organization. So it has been applied in a certain business process. It has been applied in a certain operation of the organization. Also, इस तरह भी हो सकता है specialized systems में, for example, if you have the virtual reality or if you have the computer simulations, then it is again used in the military for practicing of combats again, because instead of doing it in a real environment, they sort of imitate the environment या उसकी नकल कर लेते हैं एक 3D environment पे simulation में, और उसके अंदर वो फिर practice करते हैं. And there are different kinds of these kind of examples available. Different industries में specialized information systems use हो रहे हैं again, so that they can train their employees so that they can do their work better and achieve the competitive advantage. So now let's talk about the very basics of knowledge. Knowledge जो है वो related किस चीज़ के साथ है? Number one is knowledge जो है वो related किस चीज़ के साथ है? That is, number one is data. Now what is data? Basically, like we explained that in the first lecture before, is that it's a flow of transactions or raw facts that are captured by the system. And these raw facts do not have a meaning on their own. They only have a meaning on their own. Lekin when you use a certain data, then you cannot be sure that iska meaning किसी और context में क्या है. Right? So it's just a flow of transactions. It's just a raw facts captured by the system. But then we said that it goes through a certain process, and that process converts that data into information. So information becomes the collection of data organized so that they have a value beyond the value of facts themselves. So beyond the value of the raw facts, information becomes a collection of raw facts or a collection of data organized in a meaningful manner. Right? So organizations basically, they add in resources or use their resources to put value to the data, and that becomes information. So it categorizes the data so that it becomes useful information. अब किस किस्म की useful information हो सकती है? For example, you have the sales data. अब you have the sales data of one day, sales data of the other day and the next day. अगर आप एक product का एक sales data लेके आ रहे हैं, that becomes simple data. But if you're bringing in the sales data that is giving you a view of the monthly sales data, or it's giving you a view of the regional sales data, or it's giving you the view of a sales representative sales data, then that means that is a kind of a report that is meaningful. You're having an idea of what is going on. You're having an idea, you can do the comparisons. So knowledge is basically converting that, so information is basically that converted data that has gone through a certain processing, and then it is useful and it is meaningful to the manager or the employee, whoever is looking at it. Right, once we are clear with the data and information, here comes the concept of knowledge, that it is the awareness and understanding of a set of information and the ways that information can be made useful to support a specific task or reach a certain decision. So basically, when you have the information, it tells you that what needs to be done and what has to be done. But knowledge tells you that how are you going to do it and why are you going to do it. So knowledge is basically a sort of an input that is going to tell you how you're going to act on that information, how you're going to use that set of information for profitability or in a better way, or for decision making, or for doing the operations in a better way. So unless and until you don't have the knowledge of how you're going to use that information, then again that information is of no use again. Okay, for example, you have the data that you have 20 items of inventory in the warehouse. Now what are you going to do with this data? The information would be that you have 20 items, but this stock will only last for 1 week. So what you have to do is that you have to order new inventory. Now, how are you going to order new inventory is the knowledge. So knowledge is that you're going to call a certain number or call the number of a certain supplier and order for the inventory. So this is the knowledge that you have applied to that information that you have received. So even if you have that information, okay, then you have to order a new inventory and the inventory is going to run out of stock. What are you going to do? What is the next step of doing that? Then if you have the knowledge of what is going to happen in the next step, you're going to do that step. So this is a small example of relating the data, information and knowledge together. Now when you talk about knowledge, तो हमारे लिए knowledge is simply something that we cannot touch, right? It's something that is tacit basically, जिसको जो हमारे human minds में knowledge होती है या experiences होते हैं, उनको हम basically tacit knowledge बोलते हैं. Why? That is knowledge residing in the minds of employees that is not documented. So that's why every organization has certain people, and those people in the organization are assets. Why are those people assets? Why? Because they have the knowledge, they have the experiences. These organizations have those people because they are the knowledge creators, they are the knowledge acquirers, and people can utilize their experiences and their knowledge to do the tasks better. So basically there are two kinds of knowledge. एक तो हमारी जो general understanding है about knowledge is that it is tacit, it is in the mind of people and you cannot document it. Whereas there is another kind of knowledge that is explicit knowledge. Knowledge that has been documented, or it is structured, or it can be unstructured. Structured means के transaction processing system से जो data आ रहा है, ERP system से sales data आ रहा है, figures आ रहे हैं, all these kind of things, these can be documented. And then we talk about the unstructured documents or unstructured data that is again coming from different kind of communications, either through emails, instant messaging, voice communication. So again, converting this kind of data again into documents, into presentations, into chat sessions or these kind of details, emailing, etc. इन सब चीज़ों को again unstructured data की जब हमने बात की थी databases में भी, then we said that you can have the database that consists of structured as well as unstructured data. So again explicit knowledge की जब हम बात करते हैं, then again it's the knowledge that is coming through different kinds of systems or different kinds of documents and presentations जिसको हम एक database में रख सकते हैं. So basically आपकी explicit knowledge जो होती है वो objective होती है, it can be measured. Whereas tacit knowledge is not objective, it's not formalized knowledge, and it cannot be measured, so it cannot be properly documented. However, there is research going on, organizations try their best to convert that tacit knowledge into a knowledge that can be sort of explicit, or that can be documented, or that can be saved in a way that it can be reused by other people as well. So again there are different kinds of techniques of converting that tacit knowledge into explicit knowledge as well. Right, knowledge को और ज़्यादा समझने के लिए we'll have a look at the dimensions of knowledge that are going to give you a wider perspective that is going to give you a wider perspective of what knowledge is when you talk about knowledge in an organization. So when we say knowledge is a firm asset, that means again it is something of importance to the organization, and it is an intangible asset. Intangible, again, when we say that knowledge is in the minds of people, and so the knowledge that cannot be touched, that cannot, you can retrieve it by talking to people, by interviewing people, by asking for expertise, but you cannot actually touch that knowledge. It's not documented again. So knowledge that is tacit, again, can be as a firm asset in the form of people. Then knowledge has different forms. Knowledge, again, tacit or explicit की बात की थी, एक वो चीज़ हो गई. Different forms means that it also includes a know-how of doing things, right? एक ये चीज़ हो गई. Craft, again, craftsmanship जो होती है, that is again knowledge. Skill is again knowledge. Skill of doing a certain thing better than others is again a skill, that is a knowledge. Following a certain procedures, how are you going to follow a certain procedure, again that is knowledge. And also knowing why behind doing something is again knowledge. We are going to follow this rule in the organization, we're going to follow this procedure in the organization, but why are we doing this? Again, this is knowledge as well. So जब हमने information की बात की थी, we were talking about when, and we were talking about what that needs to be done. But when you talk about knowledge, you talk about how something needs to be done and why it needs to be done. Sometimes that how is documented because it is explicit knowledge. Sometimes that how is not documented because it is tacit knowledge. For example, explicit knowledge क्या होगी, जो हमने एक case study में देखा था, that the drivers were given different kinds of routes and the shortest paths in case अगर एक highway के ऊपर कोई accident की वजह से road blockages, and they are given certain different kinds of paths. So again, this is again an explicit knowledge that if a certain highway is closed, please take this highway from the office to the location. So this again is the solution to a certain problem, and that is explicit knowledge, and that is documented for the drivers that if this is closed, then they have to take this route, right? However, there are certain kinds of tacit knowledge and tacit decisions that do not have a sort of one fit for all solution. That is, कि अगर ये वाला problem आ रहा है, you cannot implement the same solution on different kinds of problems. For example, if you want to negotiate with the other party on a certain or a foreign party or some kind of other organization about certain mergers, about certain other kinds of things, then again you cannot go through the same procedures for every organization or same procedures for any kind of foreign government on the same issues. So you have to come up with different kinds of solutions based on different knowledge and based on different expertise or experiences. Right, next, knowledge has a location. Location means that it is a cognitive event. Cognitive event, something that happens in the mind. So knowledge is sometimes in the minds of the people, so it can be an individual attribute as well as a collective attribute. Collective attribute means that people are sharing a certain knowledge as well. So either it is present in the minds of the people or it is being shared. And when it is shared, it is, for example, present in the libraries, it is present in the documents, it is present in certain kinds of presentations. So knowledge is placed everywhere. You can find knowledge in all of these places. And it is sticky. Sticky means that it is not easy to move. For example, if a company has a knowledge of doing something better, तो वो knowledge sort of imitate नहीं हो सकती, उस knowledge की नकल नहीं कर सकती कोई और company, because उसकी वो एक अपनी specific knowledge होगी उस company की of doing something, and this is not easy to replicate or not easy to sort of imitate by the other company. That's why we say that when a company has a knowledge and it knows how to implement the knowledge in the business processes, then that becomes their asset and that becomes their competitive advantage. Then the next thing is that knowledge is situational. Again, there is a procedure for knowing when to apply some procedure that is conditional. That is, situational means that there is a certain condition when you apply a certain kind of knowledge, and it works in certain situation. That means it's contextual. That means a certain kind of knowledge is applied in a certain situation, so that makes it a contextual thing. So it is either conditional or it's contextual. So that means किसी context में आप जब बात कर रहे हैं तो उसका मतलब है कि एक knowledge जो है वो इस context में use हो रही है, दूसरी knowledge जो है वो दूसरे context में use हो रही है. So it all depends on the background, it all depends on what the problem is. तो उस problem के accordingly तो knowledge apply होती है. ठीक है, इसी तरह किसी procedure के ऊपर knowledge apply होगी किसी किस्म की अगर उसमें कोई problem आ रहा है. ठीक है, so these kind of different things that basically define a knowledge, that when the knowledge की जब हम dimensions की बात करते हैं तो हम कहते हैं कि it's an asset, उसके different forms हैं, and then it has a location either in the minds of people or in the libraries, it is documented or in presentations or stored as best practices. So here I'm basically giving you an idea that the knowledge जो है, it's not something very confined to the mind of a person, but it is something that can be shared by different people, and when it's shared by different people, there are ways of documenting that knowledge as well, of storing that knowledge as well, and of reusing that knowledge as well. So the key point here is that knowing how to do things efficiently is a primary source of profit and competitive advantage of the organizations. So when the organization realizes that a certain knowledge is their asset, and they know how to utilize the knowledge for their operational excellency, then that becomes their source of profit and competitive advantage. Now let's talk about knowledge management. So knowledge को हमने अच्छी तरह देख लिया that what is knowledge. Now we're going to talk about how we're going to manage the knowledge and what basically is part of knowledge management. Basically, knowledge management is a set of business processes developed in an organization to create, store, transfer and apply knowledge. So there are 4 steps basically that happen in any kind of knowledge management system. Is that it is helping create knowledge or acquire knowledge, it is helping store the knowledge, it is helping in transferring the knowledge or sharing the knowledge, and it's helping in applying and reusing the knowledge. So knowledge management systems basically, again, when you talk about knowledge management systems in terms of information systems, so it is an organized collection of people, procedures, software, hardware, databases and devices used to create, store, share and use the organization's knowledge and experience. So again, there are 4 steps in the knowledge management systems. They also help organizations achieve their goals. So like every other information systems that we discussed before, including the decision support systems and the executive support systems, knowledge management systems again are there to help the organization achieve its goal and help the organization do their task in an efficient manner. अब knowledge management system से जो related लोग हैं or the personnel that is associated with these systems is, number 1 is a knowledge worker. Knowledge worker basically is a professional in science or engineering or business or any kind of person that has the knowledge. So he is basically the person that is creating, using and sharing the knowledge. So knowledge workers again work at the middle management level, and they're very crucial to the organization because they are there to create, use and share knowledge. And then we have the chief knowledge officer, like the chief executive officer. He's a top level executive who overlooks the working of the knowledge management system and the people that are associated with the knowledge management system. So these are the very key persons that are working with the knowledge management systems. Is number 1 is the knowledge worker, the middle management and the chief knowledge officer, that is the top level executive. Now let's talk about the different ways that the organizations are using or creating the knowledge for the organizations, and what are the steps जो हमने steps बताए थे उनको detail में देखेंगे that are part of the knowledge management systems. So organizations basically are there to create and gather knowledge using a variety of organization learning mechanisms. If you remember that we talked about organizational learning and organizational change in the second chapter as well, when we were saying that organization basically is a set of components जिसमें different components are different factors जो हैं वो बहुत affect होते हैं when especially when we deal with the information systems. So जिसमें culture की बात की थी, structure की बात की थी, we also talked about organizational change and organizational learning. What is organizational learning? Is again when organizations gain a certain experience. So what they do is they either gather knowledge or they are creating knowledge, and when they have that knowledge and when they have their experience, they adjust their behavior to reflect that learning by creating new business processes and changing patterns of decision making. So what they're actually doing, they have experience, they have knowledge, so what they're doing with that knowledge, they are adjusting it in their new business processes. They're improving the business processes. For example, they're creating new products, they're creating new services, and they're also changing the patterns of decision making. So when that happens, so that whole process of change, of changing business processes or services or products or decision making, all of that process of change is in itself called organization learning. So organizations have acquired knowledge, they have experiences, they apply those experiences, and that change is called organization learning. Another method of how organizations create or gather knowledge is through the help of communities of practice. Communities of practice is a term जो कि दी गई है एक इस किस्म के informal social network को जो कि professionals और employees create करते हैं. Either it's inside the organization or outside the organization of the people who have similar work related activities and interests. So basically एक simple community create हो जाती है, and there are many kinds of online again technologies available for creating these communities online as well, or through the help of telecommunication networks or through the help of internet. So some organizations create, store and share knowledge through the communities of practice as well. So इसमें क्या होता है, different members of the community are basically sharing information and gaining different kinds of new insights and different kinds of new knowledge. So they allow easier reuse of knowledge by pointing community members to useful documents as well. So community of practice may basically each member is helping or facilitating the other person to get to the right person and get the information from that person. So again, communities of practice again is one way of that is used by the organization जिसमें professionals और employees जो होते हैं वो एक community create करते हैं. Of practice means that they have the experiences, they have the knowledge, and they are sort of sharing and storing that knowledge within themselves, and they are helping each other, facilitating each other to get the knowledge from the right person. So here let me give you an idea about when we talk about that. Again, जब हम एक बार-बार बात करें तो let's let me tell you graphically कि वो सारे steps क्या हैं. So when we talk about the knowledge management system, so again, first step is knowledge creation or acquisition. Either you're creating knowledge or acquiring knowledge from somewhere. Then next step is of knowledge storage, and then comes the knowledge sharing or knowledge dissemination, and in the end we have applying or reusing the knowledge. And every step we have the possibility of going back. So basically it becomes a huge cycle of how knowledge is acquired and how is it stored, how is it shared and applied. So this is the whole process of the knowledge management system. So these are basically how your knowledge management system work. ठीक है, अब इन सारी चीज़ों को हम आगे जाके डिस्कस करते हैं दैट व्हाट डू वी मीन बाय नॉलेज एक्विजिशन और क्रिएशन, स्टोरेज किस तरह हो सकती है, शेयरिंग किस तरह हो सकती है, एंड जब हम नॉलेज मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम्स की बात करेंगे देन वी गोइंग टू टॉक अबाउट द डिफरेंट सिस्टम्स दैट बेसिकली how are they doing these things, how are they creating, how are they storing, sharing and applying the knowledge. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is knowledge acquisition and creation. इसमें क्या है कि the companies or the organizations, they basically acquire or create knowledge by using acquire knowledge by different methods depending on the kind of knowledge that is required. So initially जब पहले ज़माने में you have the knowledge management systems, उसमें they used to create corporate repositories of documents, reports, presentations, etc. etc. So that was basically explicit knowledge जिसको वो store करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, and that was more towards the structured knowledge. Again, structured something that जो कि हम simple emails या chat messages से नहीं create कर सकते या voice messages नहीं store कर सकते. So that was only structured knowledge की repositories create करते थे. Then the next step was including the unstructured documents such as emails in the repositories as well, or databases as well. So, and the next step towards acquiring knowledge is developing online expert networks. So you have a list, so basically online expert networks may you have a list of the experts that are available, and the employees are asked to get online and get in touch with any expert in the field and get the information from that person. We'll talk about knowledge creation. To creation may it's creating knowledge by discovering the different patterns in the corporate data. Again, there are tools and techniques used for this kind of knowledge creation. Patterns in the corporate data की जब हमने बात की थी, if you remember well, तो databases में भी हमने इसी किस्म की बात की थी when we were talking about data mining. Data mining again was what was creating patterns from the available data and coming up with different kinds of new solutions to different problems. So again, when you're talking about knowledge management, इसमें we are going to talk about the same things over and over again. Why? Because it's the same technologies that are being used for the knowledge management purposes as well. जब हमने databases की बात की थी, then I said that databases basically are very important for an organization. और उसके जो applications हैं, that was business intelligence, that was data warehousing, that was data marts and data mining, are the things that are extensively used by different kinds of information systems as well. Decision support systems में जब हमने बात की थी, तब भी हमने databases को touch किया था, and we said that databases technologies again are used in decision support systems as well. Here when we talk about knowledge management, तो knowledge management में भी आपके जो database technologies हैं वो बहुत ज़्यादा utilize हो रही हैं. So again, these kind of systems, knowledge management systems, do not take information directly either from the databases, or they can take information from the external sources as well. So you have the data that knowledge that is being created from the internal resources as well as external sources as well, which includes news feeds, industry reports, legal opinions, scientific research and government statistics, etc. etc. तो इस सारी जगह से information लेके और तो company के लिए एक specific knowledge create हो रही होती है. Then we have knowledge storage. How is the knowledge being stored? Again, documents की form में, patterns and expert rules की form में, it is being stored again in the databases. Right? Then we have certain kinds of document management systems, and we have certain kind of expert systems that are again used by the organizations for data storage. Document management systems different kinds के हो सकते हैं. आगे जाके हम देखते हैं types of knowledge management systems में. Expert systems भी again we're going to study in the next lecture. And then organizations basically need planned management storage systems, and they need to reward employees for taking time to update and store information. Again, without the management support, nothing can be done. Not even knowledge can be knowledge repositories जो हैं वो update किसने करनी है, employees ने करनी है, knowledge workers ने करनी है. That's why to sort of motivate the employees to do their work better, these managers need to reward the employees so that they can constantly update those knowledge repositories. Great. Next step in the knowledge management systems is the knowledge dissemination or knowledge sharing. So again, contemporary technologies have been extremely helpful in the dissemination of knowledge. Contemporary technologies again means that portals and social networks and search engines, as well as instant messaging. So these kind of technologies again help the people to share knowledge with each other, especially when they're working in community, especially when you're using the social networking sites. Then it's all about knowledge sharing and information sharing. And also there are training programs and informal networks and shared management experiences that help in the sharing of the knowledge or dissemination of the knowledge or transferring the knowledge to the other people. So if you have a training program, if for example there's an expert who is training the people on different skills and different craftsmanship. And informal networks, again, we talk about the community of practice. Jisme different people are talking and they're sharing experiences and knowledge. So there are different techniques that is again used by different kinds of organizations depending on what they want to use for the sharing and transferring of knowledge. The next step is knowledge uses and application. Organization knowledge must become a systematic part of the management decision making as well as the decision support systems. So again, decision support systems के भी पीछे जो एक element काम कर रहा है, that is again the knowledge management. So they want to use that knowledge in the decision support systems as well, and also utilized in enterprise applications for managing the key business processes and relationship with customer and supplier. So knowledge again that is acquired can be used to improve, like I said before, is that knowledge acquired can be used to improve the business processes and in different kinds of enterprise wide applications. जब हमने CSM or CRM की बात की थी, again knowledge can be used to improve those systems as well, so that proper relationship can be built with the customers and the suppliers. Also, knowledge acquired can be used in a way of creating new kinds of processes, new kind of products, new services. Again, all of these are done to achieve competitive advantage and operational excellency. So that's why in all the levels, the management support is again very important. So when the management is allowing that it is allowing for the creation of new kind of business process, or it's allowing for the creation of new kinds of services, then that means that management is working at the behind all this knowledge management systems to do such tasks and to improve the business processes. So that means the managers are there to facilitate these knowledge application process. So these are the 4 steps. Just मैं आपको थोड़ा सा detail से बताया था that what are these steps about. Number 1 was the acquisition, about how the organizations acquire knowledge. Knowledge storage is how are they going to save that knowledge, and then dissemination is how are they going to what technologies are basically they're going to use to disseminate the knowledge. And what do we mean by knowledge application is that when the knowledge that is acquired by the organizations is used in their routine tasks, or it is used in their decision support systems, or it is used in their executive systems. So that means that that knowledge is being applied in the organization. Now let's talk about the types of the knowledge management system. Basically, हमने categorize किए knowledge management system को in 3 types. So number 1 is the enterprise-wide knowledge management systems. That throughout the enterprise, when you want to use a system that is working throughout the enterprise, what are those kind of systems? Then these are the knowledge work systems. That is again, आगे चल के मैं define करूँगी what are the knowledge work systems. And then there are the systems that are used through the help of intelligent techniques or expert systems. So The last category of knowledge management systems को हम detail में देखेंगे. इन दोनों types को हम briefly देखेंगे, but last type that is based on the artificial intelligence, based on the intelligent agents as well as expert systems, we're going to deal with them in the next chapter, in the next lecture, and वो हम next lecture में देखेंगे. Right now we're going to, I'm going to tell you briefly about the two initial types of knowledge management systems. Enterprise-wide knowledge management system means that there is a general purpose enterprise-wide effort by the organization to collect, store, distribute and apply digital content and knowledge. So basically when we talk about these knowledge management systems, तो उसमें basic चीज़ है that it is storing and managing the digital content basically. Digital content again can be in the form of text, can be in the form of graphics, can be in the form of pictures, can be in the form of video and audio as well. So any kind of digital content that can be managed and stored with the help of computers and information systems, again that is the digital content. So the first type of knowledge management systems is the content management system, जिसको कहते हैं, that helps store both structured as well as unstructured knowledge. तो वो जो हमने पहले knowledge repositories की बात की थी, that is again created by the help of content management systems. That includes the computer repositories for documents, presentations, best practices, so any kind of these kind of structured information as well as unstructured information now can be stored in these corporate repositories as well. So for easy retrieval from these kind of repositories, chalo theek hai, we said that this kind of information is placed in the databases, is placed in the repositories again. Then how is the information retrieved easily? Is that data or information is organized into meaningful categories, and then each object is classified into that category. So basically एक term use करते हैं tag. So if a certain item in the database is tagged by a certain classification, then it becomes easier for the user to retrieve any kind of information related to a certain tag. So either it's done with the help of keyword or it's done with the help of a certain phrase. So different categories में आप basically उस सारी information को रख रहे हैं या documents को रख रहे हैं. For example, it is about sales. या sales के अंदर भी उन्होंने बहुत detail में कोई चीज़ information दी हुई है. Then again, you can retrieve information about the sales. The benefit क्या है इस सारी चीज़ करने का is that you're keeping everything in a repository and you're organizing it into different classification and you're tagging each object to that classification. Then the reason for doing is again easy retrieval. It reduces time to search for the relevant documents. So that's why these content management systems are basically there to store the content and manage the content so that it becomes easier for the user to retrieve any kind of document from that content management system. And why it stores both structured and unstructured knowledge is again because the experts say that there is about 80% of the knowledge in the organization that is unstructured organization. That's why it's very important for the content management systems to not only store the structured information or structured data, but also semi-structured as well as unstructured data as well. And there are certain content management systems that not only allow simple textual information to be stored, but also allow for the storing and managing of the unstructured digital data that is related with the entertainment industries or advertising industries, such as digital audio, digital video, graphical information, or sophisticated graphics. So all these kind of informations are stored in the content management systems, and again they are tagged in classification so that it is easier for the people to retrieve the information or retrieve the certain kind of knowledge that they require. Right, then we have the knowledge network systems. Again are used when the knowledge is not in the form of any kind of digital document. पहले content management system की हमने बात की थी when the knowledge is in the form of something that is tangible, in the form of documents या फिर audio या video की form में है. But here, when the knowledge is not in the form of any kind of digital content or not in the form of digital document, but it is in the mind of people. So knowledge network systems are used there, and they provide again online directory of corporate experts in well-defined knowledge domains. And again, different kinds of communication technologies are used to get the employees linked with these experts online. So initially when we were talking about the knowledge management systems earlier, तब भी हमने ये बात की थी कि at times that sometimes people are the asset of an organization. So there are people who have the knowledge and there are certain experts in the fields, and employees again are asked to consult these experts for support or for gaining some kind of experience or expertise about a certain problem. And these kind of knowledge network systems are also part of the collaborative systems as well, because when we talk about knowledge, we also talk about collaboration as well, which is also very important, or in fact it is again a part of knowledge sharing, all this collaboration. आगे चल के हमने देखते हैं that this is again a part of the enterprise-wide knowledge management systems as well. Then next a kind of knowledge management system are the LMS, जिसको हम learning management systems भी बोलते हैं. Again, you are also communicating with these courses through the help of the learning management systems, and it's a portal for you through which you can access different kinds of courses, you can access your different kinds of documents, presentations, and you can also track your own progress through that. So LMS, learning management systems, again provides tools for the management, for the delivery, for tracking and assessment of various types of learning and training. So either that learning and training is happening for the employees, or these learning management systems are used for college or universities. Again, they have the same purpose of managing, delivering, tracking and assessing the student performance through the help of these tools and techniques. And most of these LMSs basically are used to automate the selection and administration of courses, group learning in online forums as well. So आपके ये वाले different basically methods provide करते हैं of how you're going to communicate or how you're going to learn. Is either you can do with the help of CD-ROM, or you can do with the help of downloading certain videos, or you can do while attending an online classroom or attending an online forum, or by doing certain kind of chat sessions. So there are different ways in which different tools have been integrated to become a part of a learning management systems. And then we talk about the collaboration. Collaboration, again, we've talked about collaboration before as well. Collaboration occurs between people, different people that are not present at the same time, and usually this collaboration happens with the help of these telecommunication tools, or through the help of internet or online technologies. For example, blogs and wikis, कि हमने पहले भी बात की थी, that they are very strong tools or very strong technologies that are used for collaboration, along with other vendor provided collaboration software. For example, we have the Lotus Notes, or we have this Lotus Domino document management system, again that is used for the management of the documents. And they can be used, Lotus Notes again can be used for different collaboration as well. इसके अलावा we have Microsoft's Net Meeting that can be used for collaboration. So these are the vendor provided collaboration software, as well as free technologies that are available online, such as blogs and wikis. So blogs and wikis again बहुत supportive technologies हैं. They are helpful technologies that can be used. Corporates, different companies can have their own wikis, or wikis का ये फायदा that anybody who is a member of that wiki can update the information, can change the information, and also it provides the functionality of reverting back to the same page or reverting back to the previous information, so that अगर किसी ने गलती से कोई information डाल दिया, then it can be reverted back and corrected quickly. So these technologies, again, the technologies provided by the internet have basically facilitated collaboration and this knowledge management through the help of collaboration. Okay, next we have the knowledge work systems. Again, the next category of the knowledge management systems that are basically specialized systems built for the engineers, scientists and other knowledge workers that are responsible with the discovery and creating new knowledge for the company. So, आपके knowledge work systems, again like the name suggests, आपके work systems हैं especially उन लोगों के लिए, specialized professionals के लिए, that are the engineers, scientists and the knowledge workers that are responsible for acquiring new knowledge and creating new knowledge for the company. उसमें जो कौन सी techniques or tools or technologies involved हैं, that includes the computer aided design with 3D as well as virtual reality. हमने CAD की पहले भी बात की थी, we talked about that when we were talking about the management information systems related to manufacturing, and then we said that these CAD softwares are used by the manufacturing departments to basically design a new product. So basically आपको जो CAD और 3D है, that is used to automate the creation and revision of the designs using the computers and sophisticated graphic softwares. So आपके basically computer aided designs and these 3D softwares are sophisticated graphic softwares जो कि एक 3D image create करते हैं of the product that you want to create. Either it's an automobile or either it's a plane या और कोई machine है, या for example it's a bridge जिसकी मैंने example दी थी पहले. So they create that with the help of these kind of softwares, and they test those softwares and they test those designs on the computer as well. So the design is easily tested and changed on the computer. उसके prototypes जो हैं वो computer पे ही create होते हैं, so that the manufacturing again costs are reduced and people don't have to waste time by creating certain modules separately and then testing them. So manufacturing process, जो actual manufacturing process है, वो एक extensive design के बाद शुरू होता है. So once you have the CAD, you can just test the design on the computer itself with the help of different, like I told you before, with the help of different factors that can affect in the real environment. So they can basically depict the environment on that sophisticated graphic software as well. So for example, like I said, एक bridge है, तो bridge के ऊपर जो चीज़ें affect हो रही हैं, again वो सारी चीज़ें आप test कर सकते हैं in the computer, because it's all measurements, it's all calculation, it's all mechanics that can be checked with the help of softwares as well. So the actual implementation comes after the design has been completely approved and it's safe for manufacturing. Again, virtual reality क्या है? It gives you the virtualization, visualization, rendering as well as simulation capabilities. Again, if your CAD is simply, if your computer aided design software is simply giving you a product और उसका 3D image आपको दिखा रहा है, virtual reality आपको एक complete simulation दिखा रही है, एक complete rendering बता रही है कि this product is going to work in this way. So for example, if you have created a robot, for example, then virtual reality can tell you that this robot is going to act in this way in the future, or it's going to act in this way, और इसके इस किस्म के mechanisms होंगे. So again, simulations and 3D and computer aided design are very important when you are implementing this in the manufacturing side as well, because these help in the manufacturing processes a lot. So virtual reality again एक step further from the computer aided design is because it allows complete simulation of that certain product. So interactive graphic softwares are used to create computer generated simulations that are close to reality. Not reality but close to reality. उसमें क्या हो सकता है? For example, a virtual reality system is used by Boeing, the aircraft company that basically use these simulation software, एक simulated environment create करते हैं with the plane, and they train the maintenance people to fix any kind of problems that are happening in the plane. So instead of using a real plane और उसके अंदर problems fix करने के लिए, they use the simulation, they use the virtual reality and उसमें वो एक 3D image आ रहा होता है plane का, with the help of which the person can detect, okay, if this is the problem, then this is the person going to do to fix the problem. So उसमें क्या होता है, there are special kind of gears that you have to wear, special kinds of clothes that you have to wear, special kinds of gloves that you have to wear, जो कि आपके motion sensing करते हैं. And sometimes you wear certain kinds of glasses जिसके अंदर video image आ रहा होता है. So when you wear the glasses, when you wear that clothes जिनके अंदर sensors होते हैं, so you sort of immerse yourself in that virtual reality. Virtual reality उसको इसीलिए कहते हैं because it's in the virtual environment on the computer, but it is sort of imitating the reality. And this in turn gives us the concept of augmented reality, which means that enhances visualization by augmenting real physical world environment. जो real physical world environment है उसी को completely imitate करके आपको virtual reality के अंदर show कर देते हैं. So that is called augmented reality. Exactly the same thing is being portrayed in the virtual world as well. So that आपको, for example, if we have, again, इसी चीज़ की example ले लेते हैं, that you have a plane. Again, it will be augmented reality if that plane completely depicts a real world plane. So that means that a person that is interacting with that plane is actually interacting with the real world plane. So आपको एक complete नकल कर देते हैं एक virtual world के अंदर, so that people can train, again, like I told you, that this Boeing aircraft company is using this virtual reality and augmented reality to train the people for maintenance of their planes as well. And all this is possible with the help of knowledge. So they have used that knowledge of working with the actual planes and then converted with the help of different kinds of technologies and different kinds of intelligent technologies to convert that reality into a virtual environment and helping the people learn through that virtual environment as well. So again, knowledge work systems again are one of the types of the knowledge management systems that consists of specialized systems built for different professionals and knowledge workers that are specially associated with the distribution and creation of new knowledge for the company. So this is what we have done so far. We've talked about the knowledge, we've talked about the different kinds of dimensions of knowledge, that when we consider knowledge तो उसमें किस किस्म की चीज़ें include हो जाती हैं, that knowledge is an asset, knowledge has a location, knowledge is situational, and knowledge is of different types. It is of tacit, it is explicit, it is the know-how, it is the skill, it is knowing why and how of a certain event or a certain procedures. So when we know what knowledge is, so we can relate it easily with the organization. So when we say it's explicit knowledge, that means in an organization knowledge can be stored as documents, as presentations. And when we say it's tacit knowledge, then also knowledge can be stored in the minds of the experts, and people can consult those experts with the help of either different kinds of knowledge management techniques or by interacting with people in the community of practice environment. And then we talked about the different kinds of the steps that are related with the knowledge management systems. जिसमें हमने knowledge acquisition देखा था, किस तरह organizations acquire knowledge and create knowledge. And then there was knowledge storage, either it's done through repositories or databases, and there are different again tools and techniques used for the storing of knowledge and easily retrieving the knowledge as well. Then we talked about dissemination. Again, the contemporary technologies play an important part here as well for disseminating of the knowledge, for transferring of the knowledge. And then we talked about the reuse and application of the knowledge, that when this knowledge is applied in the different business processes, in creating new products, in creating new services, then we say that a certain knowledge has been applied to achieve a certain competitive advantage or to improve any kind of decision making in the company. Then we talked about different kinds of knowledge management systems, जिसमें हमने enterprise-wide systems में we looked at the content management systems, we looked at the knowledge network systems as well as learning management systems and collaborative systems as well. Collaboration, again, we've talked about that before as well. Collaboration में blogs and wikis भी हमने पहले discuss किए हुए हैं. Also, the other type of knowledge management systems is specifically related with the knowledge workers or the specialists or the professionals that are responsible for creating knowledge. So, usme they use specialized technologies, very hi-fi technologies, very sophisticated graphic softwares including computer-aided design, 3D simulations, as well as virtual reality to not only create a new kind of knowledge or not only to test the different kinds of situations, especially in manufacturing, but also train the people and disseminate the knowledge as well. So in the next lecture, we're going to do the third kind of category of the knowledge management systems, that is related with the intelligent agents, artificial intelligence, and expert systems. So this is all for today. We're going to meet in the next lecture. Thank you very much.